You don't need to see success today, tomorrow, or even next week if you begin to work the action plan that you know ultimately and inevitably will lead to greater successes in the future. All right, everybody, we are back with a brand new week here on the Cabral Concept. I appreciate you being here with me. My favorite way to start the week, what I love to be able to do is just inject a little bit of motivation or inspiration just to get the ball going. Sometimes we just need that little bit of momentum to do the things that we already know that we need to do. Sometimes we just forget of how capable we are of achieving our goals that we set for ourselves. We're capable of so much more. We really are. Believe that each one of us has a deeper level of potential. And no matter what level we reach, it's funny, but when we start to then think about our future, or then start to dig even a little bit deeper, we realize there's another level. The problem is that we never get to our ultimate potential, maybe until we've gone through a lot of the challenges, a lot of the trials, and we actually see how much we have inside of ourselves. Plus, I found that the best ideas or the new ideas don't even come to us until we've gotten to that next step. A lot of things that I try to teach is just really that ladder-based method. So if you have a ladder, and I explained this to my team, and I was really talking about this from becoming a health coach. So I said to my team over at IHP, I said, listen, if you have a ladder and it goes up 20 feet, most people are going to be way too scared to start up at that 20 feet. Like the very first time on a ladder, if you've ever seen a 20-foot ladder, it's really high, especially if there's no net, there's nothing there that's able to secure you. You don't want to go all the way to the top the first time. What you're looking to do is actually just get up the courage to be able to step onto the ladder, just even one rung for the first place. So we teach so much inside of the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute. I said, listen, what people really need to do is just get started with level 1 and level 2. Learn how to become a certified health coach. Learn the de-stress protocol, the diet, the exercise, stress reduction, toxin removal, rest, emotional balance, scientifically backed supplements, and a success mindset. Learn that, and then learn how to read your own at-home lab tests. Why? Because it's a skill that you need to know for life that will serve you, and it will serve your children, it will serve your parents, it will serve everybody that you know. Like even if you never help anybody else in terms of a health coaching career. That's why we believe in teaching people how to heal themselves and heal others and become the health coach in their home. That's what we want to do. But what we can't do is overwhelm them with all the things that they can learn down the road. So I taught that to my team. And it's also, because again, when you're excited about health, you want to teach everybody about everything. I used to do that when I first started as a personal trainer at 18 years old. I would sit down and in an hour and a half complimentary consultation, I would talk to them about nutrition and all these things. And I would realize like only like half the people ended up wanting to work with me. And it's because I overwhelmed them with everything that they should do, not realizing that these people, not yet, maybe had the same passion that I did for the field. And what we really need to do is just say they came to you because they wanted to lose a little bit of weight. They came to you because they wanted to get into an exercise program. You need to help people with where they're at, and that includes yourself. So sometimes we set our goals too big for realistically what we want to bite off at this moment in time. That is a big part of understanding yourself. If there's an overall theme to the mindset that I've been trying to teach over the last 12 months, it's self-awareness. It's understanding where you are at. And the second part that comes along with that is saying, and that's okay. So, because we all want to get to the level that we see someone else at, but we don't understand that there's a ascension that we go through in order to get to that level. Because I truly believe that unless it's just an outlier, like an Olympian or the best in the world at something, most of us can achieve a very high level of success in anything that we put our mind to, literally anything. We might not be 6'7", to play basketball, or we might not be blessed with Olympian-based speed or whatever it is. That's okay, but like we can get good at all the things that pretty much we want to get good at in life, which is like, career and relationships and body transformation and feeling the spiritual connectedness and health. We can get good at all of those things, right? So once you get past the age of like 30, your mindset starts to shift a little bit into, okay, what can I do to be a healthy, thriving, vital based adult? And so you kind of get away from the, I'm looking to be an athlete or whatever it might be. Sure, you can be an athlete, but you can be a amateur based athlete in your own right. But you start to shift and you say, well, there are more important things in my life than, getting to maybe 8% body fat, or for other individuals, 16%, like whatever it might be. You're like, yeah, I want to be healthy, but I don't know if I need to achieve that. The difference is, though, you don't need to worry about being the 8% body fat until you might get from 28% to 18%, right? So what I try to share with people is that where you're at right now, what can you do? And then understanding that everything is ascension ladder. But now there's a next part to this. There really is. This is important because no matter what you set for a goal, whether it's the first rung on the ladder, the second rung on the ladder, we need to ascend them all. It's just how quickly we need to ascend them if we want to get to greater heights. This is the key, is that, and I heard this quote and I wish I could attribute it to someone who said it specifically, but again, keep in mind, these things are passed on from the Vedic-based times to the Stoic-based times, Greek philosophers, etc., is that success in your life in any area. So think of it right now. Do you want to improve your relationships, right? Most of us do, take whatever we're at right now to another level. Do you want to improve your career or your philanthropy or your community-based work? Do you want to improve your spirituality? By that I mean your connectedness to God, the universe, etc. Do you want to improve your body? Do you want to improve your health? There's a lot of things that you might want to improve. Might want to improve your finance. Might want to improve your overall nutrition, like your ability to say no to snacking, all those things after dinner, etc. Okay, so we want to improve at something. So think about that. There's an interesting quote that I heard, though. It said this: success is a lagging indicator in anything that we pursue. So let's shorten that. Success is a lagging indicator. What does that mean? Well, it means that if you're trying to transform your body, let's say you want to lose 50 pounds. Now, for most individuals, we can help them lose 50 pounds in anywhere from 6 to 12 months. So you can lose it faster, but 6 months is a really good time to be able to lose that weight, right? Like that's totally normal. It's literally 2 pounds on average, right? Is that correct? Yeah, it's about that, right? 2 times 26, right around there. So that's fairly normal. That's pretty routine for most people. Now, that means though they're doing the right things. However, some people might take a year to lose it. And we're looking at about 1 pound a week. But either way, we can lose that 50 pounds in 6 to 12 months. Again, some people faster depending on what they're looking to do. The problem is this, is that, all right, you want to lose 50 pounds and you might have a great streak for the first 1, 2, 3 weeks. That weight really starts to come off, right? You lose 5 pounds, 10 pounds in that first 3 weeks. Great. And then all of a sudden it starts to slow a little bit. Because the initial decrease in, let's just say, carbohydrates or calories in general, or the surge of exercise, or maybe you did a functional medicine detox, whatever it is that you're doing, you have to understand that you're not going to keep doing that forever. Or if you did something like a lower carb, okay, well, you get the initial benefit. But then what about after that? You can't use that, one little, play your best card. You can't play your best card every week. And so what do you need to do? Okay, now we need to start to look at what does our daily steps look like? What is our output like in terms of exercise or energy used for the day? Okay, now what does our intake look like? Are those dialed in? Great. So now you see a little bit more results. Okay, well, what about after that? Oh, you notice that your hormone levels aren't balanced. Your cortisol is a little elevated at night. Your thyroid, although your doctor says it's fine, it's really not fine. It's a 3.5, and you want your TSH to be between a 0.5 and a 2. So you're like, all right, let me dial in my thyroid. Great. Now I lose a little bit more weight. But that dialing of that thyroid doesn't necessarily happen in 3 days. And so what happens is you start to improve your diet. You start to improve your exercise. You get your total daily energy expenditure up through walking. You improve your postprandial glucose levels, meaning after you eat, your blood sugar doesn't go as high by maybe taking a little bit of a walk. Okay, standard things, but we need to implement them. The problem is this, is that we don't get to see all of those results come to fruition, sometimes for weeks. Like working in your thyroid, yeah, it's going to improve over the course of 3 to 12 weeks, 16 weeks really at the longest. Okay, so now we dialed in our thyroid. We didn't even know it was an issue until we started to do maybe something like the stress mood and metabolism test. Great, so we did that, and then we dial it in another 2 months. Oh, now we start to lose weight again steadily. So what I'm saying to you is this, you can look at that in any area of your life, right? Literally any area of your life, and you would say say to yourself, I'm putting in the work, but I'm not yet getting the results. Or sometimes I get the results and sometimes I don't. And this is super frustrating because we've all had periods of time in our life where things have come really easy and then they stalled out. And we're like, why have things stalled out? Because we've gotten to the point where we implement our current intellect. Right? And so after we've gone as far as we can with our current know-how, we now need to reach on and beyond our current knowledge base. So what do we need to do? Read the book, take the course, hire the coach, whoever it might be, whatever it might be. We need to ascend now in knowledge in order to ascend in results. This is such a key component of getting results in any area of your life. But now, when you ascend to get that new knowledge, does that happen overnight? Not typically, okay? Not typically, but maybe you read a book in a day or a week. Great. So now you say, oh, this is what I was missing. Great. So now you begin the detox protocol, the thyroid protocol, the gut healing protocol, the whatever it is, or the relationship. You begin to implement those things. Does it turn around your relationship right away? Or do you find that, new partner, that person that you've been looking for? Probably not. Because anything worth doing is worth doing poorly in the beginning. Because then you learn, oh, okay, I thought I was supposed to implement it like this, but no, really, I'm supposed to do this, right? And so now there's a little bit of a learning curve there. But the thing is, you need to put in those hours. So like, you need to, for all the old gardening metaphor, you need to plant the seed, right? So you need to plant the seed. But then after you plant the seed, does it then automatically sprout to this beautiful apple tree over the course of a day or 2 days? No. You need to make sure that it's actually it's the right soil, right? It's the right amount of sun, not too much shade, right? Or it's getting enough water. Are you planting it during the right season of your life? Like, all of these things matter. And then if you do your job, you still don't know. And this is the frustrating part. Even by putting in the work, you still don't know if you're going to get the end result. You still don't know. You planted the seed, and you know what? Something else was growing in that spot, and a weed took over, it took the water, and now there was no apple tree. But you know the formula. And if you stick with it, if you fail the first time, as long as you don't give up, you just literally, I always say this, it's the inevitability of success. All right, well, I'm going to plant again. I'm going to actually dig deeper in the soil, make sure that there's nothing there. Okay, now I'm going to make sure it's the right inches amount from the topsoil. Okay, now I'm going to make sure that it's nothing impeding it, nothing within 6 inches or a foot away from it. Okay, and now you're going to learn from that and you're going to do it again. Did it work? Still didn't work this time. What happened? Oh, okay, I was away for 3 weeks and I didn't get to water it and all these different things. Okay, now I'm at this period of my life where I can put in the time and I'm going to do this, this, and this. And then all of a sudden, you start to see the first little sprout X amount of months later for your garden, right? So it is literally the same thing in life. We learn, we implement, we think we were doing it right. Oh, turns out we weren't. Okay, now let me make the adjustments, right? But what does this take? It takes resolve. It takes persistence, stubborn persistence sometimes. This was my journey for 10 years, 17 years old. Okay, didn't know it back then. But I have rheumatoid arthritis, I have Addisons disease, my secretory IgA was a 0. I have literally no first-line defense immune cells. I'm getting pneumonia all the time, bronchitis all the time. I feel terrible. I'm just constantly inflamed. I have terrible allergies. I have insomnia. I have POTS. I have all these different issues, mast cell activation syndrome, and no doctor. I went to doctor after doctor to doctor, couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. They just could not figure it out. Why is my immune system shutting down? Finally, I figure out this is the 90s. Oh, there's this thing called natural health. Okay, well, it's in its infancy. There wasn't even internet yet. So now I'm going doctor to doctor for natural health. And since there wasn't the spread of information, they all had a little piece of it. But all the pieces didn't fit together yet, right? And so I would get well with the practitioner, and then I would relapse, only because they were maybe giving me some of those methylated Bs I was missing. But that wasn't the whole secret, right? Because I still had candida overgrowth. I still had SIBO. I still had H. pylori. I still had high levels of mercury. I still had high levels of stress. So it's like, okay, well, those there. And then this practitioner said, you really should work on your stress. And I was like, I'm trying to work on my stress, but every time I meditate, every time I do this, I just fall asleep because I'm so exhausted. And so that didn't work. And so I'm piecing this together through reading hundreds and then thousands of books and meeting with all these practitioners. And then one day I meet with my mentor, Dr. Pete. And she says, after I just literally just probably gave her a 1-hour spiel of everything I had done, she just looks at me. She's like, I understand where you're coming from. I get it. You've done so much. Here's what I want you to do next. And just step by step said, this is what was missing. This is what you were doing correctly. And help me piece all of that together. Now, did I get well immediately working with Dr. Pete? No. But after 10 years of not getting well or relapsing, getting well, relapsing, getting well, I meet with her, and within 6 months, less relapsing, and then finally better, I was well. Overcame the autoimmune issues, the Addisons, the POTS, all of those things. And it's because there's typically a sequence to what we need to do. There is an understanding at a deeper level that this is what you're doing wrong before. Because sometimes it's this additive process. I've talked about this before in the show. But oftentimes what we need to do is subtract it first. Get rid of the things that continue to hold you back. Well, then sprinkling in a couple more activities that are truly going to help you get to your goals. Now, one of the things I will share with you is this. Had I not done the work that I had done before I had met with Dr. Pete, I wouldn't have been able to even understand, comprehend, or implement what she was teaching me. So everything you've been through in your life right now is not for waste. It's not for naught. All of that, as long as it has not stopped you, they're teaching lessons through the entire thing, even if it's teaching you what not to do. I work with a lot of clients and they said, I had a terrible childhood. I was in a terrible relationship, whatever it might be. And I get it. And I'm not downplaying that by any means. But now they know how not to treat their children. Or now they know what never get into in a relationship in the future. Or how they want to treat their future spouse or partner. So I'm not saying that it's easy. Life doesn't seem to be all that easy. However, if we learn from it and we understand that it's literally a growth-based process, we can begin then to understand really maybe what life is all about. It's all about growing. It's about learning from our experiences and teaching to others whenever possible. I've always found that no matter what level you're at right now, if you begin to share your experience with others, you don't even have to say, hey, I want to teach you something. Just share. Share your experience with others. It deepens the learning engagement for yourself as well. And then you become a little bit more curious as to, okay, what is that next level? You become a little bit more confident as well because you're able to share it with others. You're able to say, here's what I've been through, which also means that you typically overcome something. The overcoming of something builds the wins along the way. That's what we always talk about with clients. The first 21 days. Then the next 3 weeks. Okay, great. We're already through 6 weeks. Now we need 6 more weeks to really solidify this for 12 weeks. This is what we do. Oh, you're already feeling the progress. Yes. And that's because we've done this, this, and this. Here's what that next process is, the next protocol, the next phase. And that's really how our life should be. It's why I talk all the time about, and we'll be talking about in a few weeks, the whole 12-week year notion. It's looking at your life as essentially 12-week quarters in every year and living 4 years for every year that you're alive. Not because you're trying to smash so much time into 1 year, but it's really saying all I need to do and all I really should do is focus on this next 12 weeks and not worry about the massive goals that I want for myself in the future, but based on those big goals, what can I do right now? What's actionable? What can I actually attain over the next 12 weeks that if I would do that, would lead then to a domino effect on future goals as well. If we can do that, we take all of the pressure, all of the stress off of ourselves, and we begin to understand is that you don't need to see success today, tomorrow, or even next week. If you begin to work the action plan that you know ultimately and inevitably will lead to greater successes in the future. Thank you so much for tuning into today's Mindset and Motivation Monday podcast. I appreciate you. I thank you. As always, feel free to share the show with anyone you believe it will serve. Take care. Have an amazing rest of the week, and I'll be back tomorrow on a Cabral Concept. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.